You've just started university, it's freshers week, you're setting into your accommodation, meeting new people, but ultimately, you're at university to get a degree. I'm here to share with you how to get the best of both worlds during your first year studying at university. You can socialise, go out, go for coffee dates, but I ended up getting a 70 overall during my first year studying law at university, which is a first. So I'm going to share with you how you can curate the perfect life as a fresher, how you can establish your own work-life balance, but also work towards your academic goals, because you want to have the best of both. Step 1, forget everything you thought you knew about writing essays during your A-levels or IB. At law school, I found that the marking criteria was completely different because, of course, you're at university now. Your writing must be to a different standard. You're referencing, you're formatting your writing in a different way as though you're kind of advising a client. So the sooner you let go of everything you learned about writing an essay just to pass a different style exam, the sooner you can start to succeed academically. I found that for the first few essays I wrote at the very start of law school, they weren't that good, and that was because I was trying to write an essay like I'd been taught for, say, my A-level English literature exam. I want to be able to quickly adapt to law school and what it expects of you. So how can you do that? Well, I would recommend going to see your personal academic tutor if you have one, or going to lecturers, or even the exams officer, and asking them to go through the mark scheme with you. Because I find the mark scheme can be quite vague sometimes, so sitting down with someone who actually knows what it looks like in practice is so helpful, because it means then that when you're studying, even way before exams, you know how you should be formatting your notes and preparing for the final exam, because you know exactly what they want from you. Get them to explain in detail, for example, if it says you need to show adequate knowledge and understanding, well, what does that actually look like in practice? How can you show knowledge and understanding? So getting on top of the new mark scheme at university at an early stage will really benefit you in the future, because it will help you to let go of working towards A-levels and quickly adapt to university. I would also say to practice writing out your tutorial questions too. And I don't mean to go write a full essay, I know that's very extreme for first year, but I mean even just writing an introduction to an essay. If you're asked to answer questions, don't always just write in bullet points, try and actually write out in full sentences. This helps you prepare for exams because you're used to writing quickly, and you also kind of know how you would actually go about writing a question. It's one thing just writing ideas in bullet points, and it's another thing to actually write that in sort of an essay way. It's quite helpful, and it's honestly the best way to prepare for exams. Step 2 is be humble with your grades at first. I can't stress this enough, especially in a competitive environment like law school. For me, I got a lot of 2-2s at first, and I felt so disappointed at the time. I'm not sure why. I mean, I was literally 4 weeks into studying law at university, and I was just letting it get to me, especially when my peers were already getting firsts. So my advice is don't listen to what other people get. Focus on your own journey, your own grades. Everyone will get first as their first set of grades, but equally if you do get a first, that's great, but make sure you understand why you got a first and how you can ensure you can keep maintaining the same grades. If you get lower grades like me and you're disappointed by them, use that as motivation to fuel your studying. Like I said, go see different academics at your law school, or chat to your peers who got higher grades and see what they did differently. Just use it as motivation to make sure that you don't feel that same disappointment. First year is a learning curve, and you're learning how to adapt to the different style of learning, to different academic style, the new mark scheme, different style of assessments. So that's why you should be humble with your grades. Step 3 is build a study schedule. This is really important to kind of maintain a work-life balance. On the one hand, you want to make sure you're studying enough to actually pass first year and do moderately well, but equally you want to make sure you settle into university so you're happy there. You want to meet new people, have people to live with in your second year. So make sure you tailor your study schedule so that you can focus on your academics, but equally have time to actually be social or go to societies or start some new hobbies. For me, most of my social activities or society events were in the evening, so I try to get all of my studying done during the day. I had a few lectures or tutorials a week, not that many, so if you're on campus anyway, maybe save it extra, go to the library or somewhere so you can study there whilst you're there. Plus, if you're already on campus and if you've commuted there like a bus or train or something, you might as well make the most of being there in a very studious environment and get some work done. Also be smart with lecture times. Sometimes the most awkward lectures will start at about 11 AM, and it's a weird time because by the time it finishes it's already the afternoon. Make sure you plan ahead for that. Don't just roll out of bed at 10 and go to the lecture, because then it's 1 PM and you might not have done anything, and then you have something that afternoon. So try and think in advance, like maybe just get up an hour earlier so you can do a bit of reading that morning, get some stuff done, and then by the time the lecture finishes you feel like you've already done something with your day. You're able to actually then go out and socialise or have some time for yourself. For your study schedule too, make sure you kind of colour code your notes or you separate your different modules out. This really helps to make sure that you're not just spending time studying your favourite modules, but you're also spending time equally on each one. I really struggled with criminal law in first year. I didn't like to study it at first because I knew I wasn't that good at it either. I just put more effort into it. That reflected in my grades, the extra work I put into it. So make sure you don't avoid subjects you don't like, because if you don't like it or you're not doing that well in it, put more time into into it. Make your own study schedule based on what suits your course, when you're on campus, when you're available to go to the library, and also factor in time for enjoying your university life too. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to subscribe. Step 4, definitely for law students, is learn how to read effectively. I can't stress this enough. It's important for tackling those long reading lists. One thing I would say to do, which I didn't do until second year, but definitely get an extra monitor if you can, like an extra computer screen. It's so helpful instead of just doing split screen on your laptop. It's helpful you can use one monitor for reading and then make notes on your laptop. It makes it a bit more bearable, honestly, if you have more screen space. Specifically for reading textbooks, do not write down every single thing you read. There's absolutely no point in just reading a textbook and writing down every detail it gives. Obviously, if you're doing a really important case or a statute, you need more detail on that. If you're reading a textbook that's more about theory, my method was to sort of break it down into chunks. So one chapter might have about 12 sections, and then each section has its subsections. So what I would do is for each subsection I read, I would write my notes out and structure them. So I had the chapter heading, and then each section, I would use one bullet point for each subsection, and I would kind of summarize that whole subsection in like 1 to 2 lines. The way I had very concise notes that were summarizing the whole chapter, and I had the most important information there. It also helped to absorb the information because I was trying to pick out what was important in the textbook. Make sure you use page numbers too. It's really helpful for an exam or revision if you know exactly where you got that information from. It's a good habit to get into. Other tips for reading is use a physical copy if you can. Your library will probably have physical copies of most of your readings, or definitely your textbooks. It's a really nice break from your screen to read from a textbook. I think you absorb the information more if you're not just scrolling through all the pages online. For reading journals, my method was to read the introduction and the conclusion first. That way you had a very clear idea of what the journal was about, what the author was arguing. After reading the introduction, the conclusion, just kind of skim the headings and the content. Think to yourself how the author has structured their argument. One of the mistakes I made was thinking that the journal was the same as a textbook, in that the journal was giving me information about the law, because I'd never studied it before. So if someone was arguing something about the law, I would take their word for it. Try and see a journal as someone's opinion and how they're backing up their opinion. You're evaluating how the author defends their opinion in their article. You can kind of say whether you think their argument was valid or not, or if their reasoning was strong. And when you're writing about it in essays, your own opinion can kind of come in and kind of test the strength of their arguments. Step 5 for studying is learn from your mistakes. After your first set of mock exams, celebrate or rant to your friends. Like I said earlier, if you got a first, congratulations, that's amazing. Make sure you understand how you got that first and how you can make sure you get a first in the real thing. There is no worse feeling than doing really well in the mock exam but not doing as great in the real thing when it actually matters. I hate when that happens. Go take your essay to your lecturer, go through it with them, understand what they liked about it. Equally, if you're unhappy with your results, please don't be afraid to speak to someone, get some support, arrange a one-to-one with your personal tutors, your lecturers, anyone. Because sometimes it can just be one thing that brings your grade down. Like the amount of times I got a low grade in mock exams because I just didn't speak about one case, and so I just needed to make it clearer that that case was really important to the answer, and then the next time my grades went up 2 grade boundaries. And once you've received your grades, make a conscious effort to change the way you study or write your question answers if you weren't too happy with your grades at first. There's no point just carrying on making the same mistakes. Step number 6 is have fun. Join societies. You can do that with your flatmates or on your own. I joined the ballet society, which I loved. I didn't do that until second year though. It was something I was doing on my own, and it did feel a bit like intimidating to join a society on my own, but don't feel intimidated. There are so many other freshers that are going to be there too that don't know anyone either. You're not alone. There's literally thousands of other people that are freshers that are also new to everything. Really romanticize studying at university too. Like go to study cafes, go to the library, go to student union events too. So many times I got freebies from the students union by going to random fairs that they had on, or events with like different brands. One of my favourite things to do as well was explore the local city and area with my friends, like go on a train to local towns or the countryside. So if you are new to the area, it really helps you to sort of settle in there. And step number 7 is to embrace all opportunities that come your way. University is a great way to break out of your shell and build up your CV. I know it might seem really early to start thinking about your CV, but if you are given opportunities to do things, then definitely take them. Like in first year, I was a course representative, which meant that I represented my year in meetings and spoke about what students were happy with, what they weren't happy with. And then that meant that I could go on to be the law school president in the future. It was a really great way for me to step out of my comfort zone. I had to force myself to get over my fear of public speaking by speaking in front of lectures. So if that's something that you're struggling with, like your self-confidence or just speaking, communication situation in general. A really great way to do that is just to throw yourself into the deep end. Put yourself in a situation where you're forced to do that. It really helps you manage your time better too. I had to prepare for meetings, collect feedback from students, and so when I had all that going on, plus I had my own studying to do as well, it helped me actually manage my study schedule better. So overall, the purpose of this video is not to give a formula on how I got a 70 overall in first year, but it's a lot of habits that I built up over the year that I wanted to share with you because it didn't come to me obviously. To be a successful law student, you don't have to spend hours and hours in the library every day. It really does come from a healthy balance of meeting new people, being social, looking after yourself, and then all the studying on top of that. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did find this video helpful, don't forget to like and comment down below what tip you found the most helpful. Bye!